Good morning, Patriot fam. Happy Friday, and welcome to the new set of Open Mic.
I mean, we're growing, we're expanding, we're. It's like a renovation. Do you know what it's like to live through a renovation in your home?
Oh boy, it's not
stuff.
fun. That's
good
stuff
stuff.
for sure.
We're grateful you're here, but we're even more grateful that it's Friday and we've got a special guest coming your way. We've got a lot to talk about, including RFK Jr. really firing back. I'm so proud at the way we've got people with an actual backbone.
We got some fiery people in Congress.
Firebrand.
And in this administration. It's lovely. I love it.
It's amazing. Plus, we want to make sure that we give a hat tip to our guest that's coming on later, Brandon Straka. This is going to be exciting, learning how we really engage with those who we might not see eye to eye with on everything, but we really are all Americans. We all want to fight for our freedom. So we're excited. Don't go anywhere, guys. Let's go ahead and
open that mic.
Open that mic.
Red hat stays on. Red hat stays on. Taking back our freedom, back to where we started. We're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do when they try to cancel you? MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, you gon' ride with us? Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor of MAGAville, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
Keep that metaphorical red hat on, red lipstick.
Or hot pink in my case today.
Looks good. You look really good. Thanks for joining us, guys, with Open Mic with Ali Leger and Michelle Posey. Make sure you're following us as well as at Open Mic Ladies on all social media platforms. Lots of fun in store today.
And we are on Spotify, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us from everywhere that you are joining us from. Please don't forget to comment down below in your comment section wherever you are watching us from, where you are watching us from, because we would like to show you
across the nation. We love that. We love that. Guys, I want to kind of just set the tone here for how excited I am for today's show, because if you're not fired up, knowing that there's a lot of elections coming up in 2026, this should light a flame underneath your hiney. Take a watch.
This guy's going to take over your city, and within a year, New York City is going to be London. Why? Why are we assuming that that's a foregone conclusion? London became what London became, and nations that fell to socialism became what they became because their people did not stand up and fight when they had to fight. But I'm telling you right now, and I want you to listen to me loudly and clearly, and I want you to feel it in your bones and in your cells when I say it. Americans are just different. We're born different. We're raised different. We have freedom in our blood and in our DNA. We are not the kind of people who were born to just sit down, lay down, and lose our freedom to socialists who want to come and take our freedom away. We are Americans. That means we stand and we fight. And I don't care if the fight seems hard. I don't care if the odds seem like they're stacked against us. I don't care how difficult this fight seems. We are fucking Americans. That means we stand up and we fight until there's nothing left to fight for anymore. I don't want to hear another word about how difficult this fight is going to be. I know it's going to be hard. There are 4,700,000 registered voters in New York City, but this race is very different, isn't it? We have the eyes of the nation on New York City right now. Everybody is talking about New York City. Everyone is talking about the socialist threat to our city. And if New York falls to socialism, it will spread like a cancer across our country. But the fact that we have the eyes of the nation on our race means that we have power. And we can use that power to our advantage. We have to drive out turnout for this election like we have never seen before. And we can do it. So I don't want to hear anything more about how difficult it is. It's a waste of time. And why? Because I'm an American. Because I'm an American, and that means that I fight. And I will continue to fight until my last breath. We do not have to become London. We do not have to become the cities in Europe. We don't have to become Australia that gave up all of their guns to their government. We will never give up our First Amendment. We will never give up our Second Amendment. We will never turn our backs on the American Constitution, and we will never stop fighting for our country because we are Americans, and that is what we do. So let me hear you say it. Fight, 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 fight. We can and we will defeat Mamdani. We will win. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Goodness.
Well, and here's what I love the most about that is that we were just talking about this. After we went to watch, the results of the election, you and I were like, having a great time, and then we're like, oh God, but like the work continues. So it literally never stops. And I know you out there watching, you have families to raise, and you have jobs that you're, very capable at. You've got bills, you've got all the things, but this has to become a part of our fabric as Americans. We all have a lift to do, right?
What are you willing to give up? It's a sacrifice. It requires a very significant level of sacrifice. Your money, your time, and your life, sometimes all three. And those of us that are in the fight like Brandon, we understand this, especially Brandon understands this. I mean, the things that he has been through, his entire story is a redemption story. From New York, left New York, back to New York, fighting for New York. It is absolutely incredible.
Yes.
And it is so important that New York wins.
That New York
for
wins.
freedom. So,
absolutely. And we get here in Florida where we're at, we have a lot of, I guess you'd call them transplants, right? From all across the country, which we love. But the question asks, we have to ask is what happens to your area of the country if you all come here?
When you flee.
And so you're
leaving it open.
Whether we're talking about it being your country, people coming here across the border, or we're talking about your part of the world, whether it's California, New York, there's something to fight for where you're at. So stay tuned, because after our first commercial break, we'll have Brandon on with us. I want to touch base on something you sent me that kind of shocked me. Melania meeting with big tech.
Yeah.
I love that she met with the AI team on education.
Yeah.
But take a look at this. We're just going to play a portion of this clip here as she's talking with the big tech people.
Well, I'm in the second phase of my career, giving away all the wonderful money that Satya's good work has helped multiply a lot. But I think the thing that ties my first career that I still spend some time on because AI is so phenomenal, and my second career is innovation, innovating in health in areas like vaccines or gene editing. And the president and I are talking about taking American innovation to the next level to cure and even eradicate some of these diseases. He mentioned polio, which is one that we're close.
So, I wasn't thrilled, but Trump always plays like 4D chess. So I'm sure there's something, sir, that I'm not aware of. But Melania looked really awkward. Like she was like,
her face was speaking in subtitles. That's exactly what I thought when I saw her face as Bill Gates was speaking. But he does have, I guess, a right to sit at the table if he's invited. But I do think that it's one of those situations where there's a trap set. And because these people are egotistical and very prideful, they will slip and fall into this trap. And with the people that President Trump has around him, especially with Bobby Kennedy as Secretary of Health and Human Services, and the amount of very intelligent and world-renowned doctors that he has in his circle of influence, I think Bill Gates is not going to get a foot near successful in doing anything that he wants to do.
What's that saying? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Yeah.
So, and I love that he came out and said, I mean, this is at the same time that Kennedy is over at the Senate hearing defending his life, basically. That was really odd. But at the same time, he's saying, this is the second half of my career. Now I do all these things for healthcare. He's got no doctorate, nothing, no medical, anything.
Right. Like
except he wants to get the carbon footprint down to zero. You only do that by eliminating you and I.
How are you a philanthropist and you're funding all of this research on vaccines, but you're not even like remotely knowledgeable on what's going on? And then it's just a hodgepodge.
So we will keep an eye on that. Melania is a bright woman. Trump is obviously more than capable. So we'll keep an eye on it. See what becomes of that. Department of War. Dun, dun, dun. It's official. Obviously, Secretary of War? Is
Yes,
it
the Secretary of War.
Secretary-
That's exactly what it is.
He
I'm so
needs an
excited.
Avengers costume. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, had this to say, joking about it the other day. Take a listen.
Started my sentence by saying, the Department of Defense, to which you said that just doesn't sound right. So maybe next time we're here, my card will read Department of War. We'll see. But it's not, here's the thing, here's what people miss. It's not just about words. It's about the warrior ethos. It's about what the department is supposed to do. George Washington started the Department of War because he wanted us to win our wars. Our founders didn't want endless foreign entanglements. They didn't want endless contingencies and deployments. They wanted an empowered military that was, the handcuffs were taken off to fight to win.
Exactly.
So I had somebody actually reach out and say Department of War sounds like we're warmongers. Like that's all we're gonna. And no, we're not looking. It's strategic to look at a fight different.
Yes.
You can know that you're actively engaged in battle, and so if somebody comes for you, it's all out war, as opposed to a defense mechanism where we're just gonna kind of, I don't know, keep you at bay. It's weird.
So and I say this please love me as I say this, because I'm saying this with love. So the normies, this is how I explain this. It's like football, or it's honestly like football. Everybody loves football, right? People watch football, right? It's like
football season.
It's an American pastime. We watch football. You have to have, if you're always on defense, you're not moving the ball.
Right. No, great.
Regardless of what comes, you're not moving the ball. So if you are on offense, what are you doing? You're able to move the ball. You're able to play if you have an offensive playbook, you're able to understand what that looks like, right? When you're in the game. And that's exactly how I am relaying this. It's Department of War, which is essentially an offensive playbook.
And we need to. We need to do that. We did that from the inception of our country.
Absolutely.
So excited to see all the new branding that comes out with.
And so Senator Rick Scott, Senator Mike Lee, and Representative Greg Steube.
Woo!
I'm so excited about this. They have decided to put forth legislation to codify the renaming of the Department of Defense to Department of War, and renaming Pete Hegseth's position from Secretary of Defense to Secretary of War. So I'm excited to see that.
Keep it locked here. We'll keep you updated as that happens, and we're grateful for those elected representatives that are doing their job.
Yes.
I do want to get to the Senate hearing briefly that Kennedy was badgered at.
Lord.
He's, you're borderline angelic if you can sit there through all of that. Can we, in the control room, can we just go to RFK Jr. fires back that clip? Take a look at this, guys, and then we'll talk about it.
We have to acknowledge that there was a cause. We acknowledge that there was a benefit. We can't quantify either one because of the data chaos at CDC. And that's all I'm saying. And they think I'm being evasive because I won't make a kind of a statement that's almost religious in nature. Did it save 1 million lives? Well, there's no data to support that. There may be data, there's no study that there's modeling studies, there's faulty data. I'm not going to sign on to something if I can't do it to a scientific certainty. It doesn't mean that I'm, anti-vax. It just means I'm pro-science.
Oof.
Makes sense, right? I mean, he's a lawyer. He's been a lawyer his entire career.
Yeah.
And he's been fighting this medical freedom fight for more than maybe 20 years.
A long time.
It's been a while.
And he's fought the federal government and then they're all the
and he's made the CDC bend the knee several times because of the information that him and his organization bring forward to say, look, your evidence does not support your statement. Make your evidence support your statement or you are going to be sued. And they actually sue them and they win.
And I love how he says, you're asking me to almost make a pledge that's almost religious in nature.
Yeah.
And we've seen this throughout a lot of different, whether you're talking about education, people want you to submit to their theology and their ideology. And it's okay for us to have a difference of opinion. What he's saying is, if you're saying trust the experts and you're saying trust the data,
right.
You're saying trust the science, what he's telling you is that it's not there. The American people were largely the lab rat in this experiment. And so
without proper informed consent, by the way, which violates Nuremberg Code. Okay, Congress, when are we bringing back Nuremberg Code trials? When are we bringing back the trials?
We're offering to be the jury, aren't we?
Can somebody grow a pair
And listen,
and put forth that motion, please?
well, and Kennedy had a very large pair there because he fired back at Pocahontas saying, listen, we know you took over $850,000
Dang, that's a lot of
from
money.
Big Pharma.
Listen.
We're talking like for fundraisers. We're talking, yeah.
And like the nefarious things that go on, like even just on the state level, like you have representatives that are like sleeping with lobbyists.
Girl.
Like, and we're talking about conflicts of interest and we're talking about like corruption. Like this is part of it.
Honeypots. It's all part of
Exactly.
it.
Like
So Kennedy's doing something right. Take a look
Yes.
at this graphic. This is based on his job performance. This is almost unheard of for somebody in this position.
Yep.
Only 8 months in to his job. Approval rating of 52%. I don't know who the 15% are that have been sleeping under a rock and don't have an opinion on this.
the same ones that drive around by themselves with a mask on. Those
We're gonna get
people.
emails.
I don't care. Contact at openmicladies.com.
We're so
And if
grateful.
you really want to be froggy, my cell phone number is on my website.
It's just
So,
firebrand. This is what happens when you
Bring it.
have, listen, when you have two parents, we were just, I want to say just moms, until you lit that fire, came for our children, tried to inject things into our bloodstreams, and then basically told us we couldn't run for office. FAFO 2025. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will have the real firebrand, Brandon
the
Straka,
tip of the spear.
joining us soon, guys, right after this.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The founders collect who to nation, the President's House Collect, and the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OPENMIC for 10% off your order.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None.
Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all of their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.
You, our next guest, Brandon Straka. I met Brandon when he came to Tampa, actually, in I believe it was 2021. And he held a walkaway rally outside in Tampa area. And I met him, and our first interaction, I was like, I want to take a photo. He was like, wait, we're going to do that afterwards. And I was like, all right, cool. So I got to meet a whole bunch of everybody else. Everybody else was a part of the panel. It was a lot of fun. We've been to CPAC together. We've been, I actually got to sit down and like get to really know him during WalkaCon, which happened a couple of years ago, which is fantastic. Everybody's still talking about it. Trust me, you go into spaces, we're always talking about WalkaCon. We're like, we need another WalkaCon, Brandon. I will help you plan it. Okay, we need another one. But it was an amazing event where we got to just hear more stories about people and their walkaway. I was a walkaway. So many of us are walkaways from the Democrats.
Half the administration is a walkaway, to be honest.
For real. Brandon himself is a walkaway. And so I am so excited to introduce my friend to our audience, Brandon Straka. Welcome to Open Mic, Brandon.
Hey, Good to be here.
Nice to see you.
Great to see
I'm so glad you're back in New York City. Could you give us our audience just a little bit of background of how Walkaway started, and then you can jump into wherever you want to go from there.
Yeah. So in 2018, May of 2018, I launched something called the #Walkaway campaign. Started it on Facebook as a group, basically encouraging people to share their own stories and make their own testimonials about why they're walking away from the Democratic Party. I did that because I had just walked away from the Democratic Party myself in 2017. I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. And then when Trump got elected, like so many people on the left, I was shattered, confused, outraged, just scared and really freaked out. And so I kind of went on this, what I call a journey of research to understand several things. How did the media that I trusted get it so wrong? Why would anyone vote for somebody who was as awful as the media said that Trump was? And many things happened, but during that period of time when I was researching, what I ultimately realized was that the media that I've been trusting my whole life was dishonest and deceptive and manipulative and exploitative, and that I had been misinformed, about everything. And when I realized that they were intentionally deceiving and dividing people, I knew I couldn't be a part of it anymore. So I left the left. But then I knew I couldn't be the only person feeling that way. So I started Walkaway. And within the first couple of years, hundreds of thousands of people joined us, and like tens of thousands of videos and written testimonials, people sharing their stories. And then we became an organization, traveling the country, doing college campus tours, doing minority-focused town halls, debates, rallies, marches, educational videos. And as of today, we've traveled to more than 100 cities in the U.S. We've done well over 100 events all over the country. And I believe had a massive impact in getting people to leave the left and changing the culture and the political landscape.
And I find it interesting, Brandon, because I think I've heard you say before that if the left really wanted to, you've pretty much provided them their own focus group, because there's all these testimonies of what is wrong. If you really, if you're running a business and you want to know why aren't people using my product, that's what you would do. You would create a focus group. What are some of the stories? What is there like a common denominator in all of them, or what are some of the stories that you're hearing?
Yeah, and before I answer that question, let me also say that the right could also learn a lot from Walkaway.
Exactly.
If the GOP ever decides to stop ignoring us after 7.5 years,
thank you.
Also learn an enormous amount from the data we've collected for 7.5 years in the Walkaway movement. So RNC, if you're out there,
anybody.
Yeah.
Joe Reuters, here, let me call you real quick, sir.
Exactly. No, but the common theme. So I get asked this question, and what I can tell you is, so we literally every type of person has made Walkaway stories, whether young, middle-aged, old, black, brown, white, gay, straight, trans, every type of person. And everybody's circumstances are a little bit different because everybody's story is a little bit different. And the timing and the catalyst that caused somebody to walk away is different. But there's one common theme in every walkaway story, and that is betrayal. That at some point, everybody who walked away from the left had a moment of realization that they had been lied to and deceived, and that they had been betrayed by a party and a media and an ideology that they gave themselves over to at some point. And that's the truth. I mean, when I became a liberal, which I would say back in high school, I believed that I was a part of something that was making the world a better place. I thought that I was fighting for marginalized and disenfranchised people. I thought I was standing up for racial minorities and other types of minorities and immigrants. And because I was being told constantly by the media and by the Democrats that Republicans are greedy, self-interested, racist, bigoted white people who only care about other greedy, self-interested, bigoted white people.
Right.
And so that's what I thought I was doing, was fighting for, people, voiceless people. And what I ultimately realized was it was a mass manipulation by the Democrats designed to divide us so that they could control people. Because if the Democrats can control how people feel, they can control how they think. And if they can control how they think, they can control how they vote. And that's how their whole system works. And so I think when people wake up for whatever reason, because we've had people, in their walkaway stories tell us it was, this is going back a few years, but, the Kavanaugh hearings woke up a lot of people. COVID woke up a lot of people. Black Lives Matter woke up. So the catalyst is a little bit different for every person, but it's ultimately like, bing, the light goes on and, oh my God, I've been lied to. This whole time I've been lied to. It's a feeling of betrayal.
Wow.
And
That's incredible.
I think what's interesting about it is, lots of times, and we joke because we're very tongue in cheek here, you kind of, the divide is always really easy to find. What's harder is finding the common ground. And there needs to be people like yourself who do it so well to be able to not approach the conversation in such a polarizing way, to really ask the questions. You ask the questions, you listen to the responses. I love that you're targeting these areas that we would normally consider off limits, like New York City. Tell us about the fight that's going on in New York City. Tell us about Mamdani, even though I know it's made, national news. Let our viewers know what's at stake.
Yeah. Well, and let's go back to the comment that I made a moment ago, somewhat facetiously about, the GOP and the RNC. I mean, so you've got right now a gay man, former liberal, who's heading up this effort to try to save New York City from Mamdani. And I'm here to tell you, we're just about the only game in town. Now, I don't want to disrespect like any other grassroots activists or any other organization. I'm not saying but I'm saying like at a national level or at a high, like there's no support. It's us. Like, so I'm letting everyone out there know, no one is coming to rescue us. It's just us, people. This is it. And so I decided to return to the city that I love because I lived in New York City for 20 years. And in 2020, during the COVID shutdown, when everything became very draconian, I grew up in Nebraska. I decided to go back to Nebraska temporarily during the COVID lockdown, believing that Trump would win the 2020 election. As soon as he won, they would magically stop talking about COVID. Everything would go back to normal. And of course, nothing turned out that way. Now, in addition, during this 6-month period that I was supposed to be in Nebraska, Joe Biden became president and his DOJ and FBI raided my house, threw me in jail, and I got put on federal supervision for the next 4 years in the state of Nebraska. So I am now back in New York City, a place that I never really intended to leave because the timing feels, I think, exactly right to come back and fight, because we do have a socialist who wants to become the mayor of New York City. Of course, we know the socialist movement in American politics, I would say, was practically born in New York because it was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez who I think really normalized. I know we have Bernie Sanders, but I think something changed about 7 years ago when like AOC came on the scene and a lot of other people, in the squad and whatnot, this normalization of socialism here in America. But this is next level because now we're talking about somebody literally controlling the financial capital of, I would say, maybe the world, but certainly the United States. And the biggest city in the United States, and wanting to turn us into a socialist hellscape and hellhole. And so I'm here to fight against him. And what I'm doing is basically organizing what I believe is probably the largest anti-Mamdani ground game in New York City. We're assembling at this point hundreds, I want to get that into the thousands of volunteers to be doing canvassing, phone banking, text messaging, letter writing. We're also doing events all over the city. We're doing rallies all over the city. We're doing tabling events, live street debates in New York City, just basically trying to get the word out as much as possible. And the people we're targeting, there's really two camps. We're targeting Republicans, undecided, and independents to say, you must get out and vote. Because, one of the demoralization, I think, of the conservative movement it may start at the top, but it does trickle its way down to the everyday voter who says, what's the point? My vote doesn't matter. This is a foregone conclusion. We're going to lose. Well, that's not true. We have the numbers to win if we can drive that massive voter turnout. This guy doesn't have the numbers. He only has the numbers if everybody stays home. So we can't do that. The other camp, of course, is Democrats. So it's actually amazing the number of Democrats I've spoken to, my team has spoken to, who have said, look, I have no intention of leaving the party. I like being a Democrat. I'm going to stay a Democrat, but socialism is a bridge too far for me. Great. I can work with that. So let's create a united front here to say, don't leave the Democratic Party, stay in the Democratic Party, fine. But maybe we can all agree that we have to fight the socialist threat together. And that's what we want to do.
That is so
amazing.
good, Brandon.
Which makes me ask the question, what are you seeing as some other viable options for candidates? Is there anybody that you're leaning towards, or is it just anybody? Is it kind of just any of them that aren't him?
Well, no, that's a great question. So my position right now is anyone but Mamdani. To answer your question, yes, of course, there is a candidate that I favor, but I've made a decision not to endorse anybody or push any candidate because I believe that the way that I can be most effective right now is by leading an anti-socialist, anti-Mamdani movement, including trying to get and convince current Democrats to not vote for this candidate, to vote for anyone but Mamdani. And if we get to a point where it's 1 against 1, I'm going to throw the entirety of my weight behind the remaining candidate, you know, even if that's Andrew Cuomo or Eric Adams or whomever it may be. But while we have multiple candidates in the race against Mamdani, I don't think it's a good use of my voice or platform to be endorsing any one candidate. I think at this point, I need to be pushing an anti-Mamdani movement as hard as possible.
That's true leadership right there, Brandon. And I'm so proud to know you and to see this kind of this fire move through New York City, where I don't think people really are understanding the gravity, one, of what is at risk, and two, the momentum that you're building is historic here. And the fact that you are very wise about how you're moving and what you're saying shows to your true leadership in your heart, because you're not in it for you. You're in it for the legacy of America. You're in it for the legacy of New Yorkers. You're in it for the history of New York. And that, I think, is what the New York dream is all about, what the American dream is all about. And so watching you move through that after everything that you've been through is just, it's so heartwarming, and it makes me a little emotional because I know you, and we're like,
well, and Alex,
you know, so
what I was taking from it as I was, watching some of your stuff, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how many people throughout America, especially, I mean, we hear it all the time, feel very disenfranchised, even as a Republican,
politically,
when you're not welcomed. Like, it's very easy. Listen, this is the game plan. They want you to go back to your life as usual, and not engage and feel like you can make a difference. And I say they because you can insert whatever name you want there. The point is, what you're doing, Brandon, is exactly what we should all be doing in our own little sphere of influence. I want to ask you, because I know Trump has made this very clear how he feels now about mail-in voting.
Yeah.
How do you feel that plays out in something like this mayoral race? And how do you feel about Trump's words there?
Well, quickly before I address that, if I may just make a very quick point about what we were just talking about, because I feel like we began to touch on apathy a little bit. And I just want to say to every conservative out there who's watching, whether you're living in middle America or on the West Coast, or if you're here on the East Coast or in New York City with me, look, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot have it both ways. And a lot of people are trying to have it both ways. We've heard the right say so many times, especially over the last 8 years, like, how did this happen? How did the left take control of the entertainment industry and academia and infiltrate their woke culture into every aspect of our lives? And then the same people are saying, screw New York City, let it burn, let them get what they want, or let them take over New York City and let them learn a hard lesson. Guys, it doesn't work like this. Don't you understand? Like, if you think that we can just sit back and let this guy take over New York City and somehow it's not going to affect your life in 2 or 3 or 4 years or 6 years, once we normalize this, once we have a socialist mayor of a major city in New York, in the United States, it is literally a couple of years before we have socialists taking over Chicago, Los Angeles, and Washington State. And then if you think, oh, but I live in Kansas, I live in Nebraska, I live in Iowa, you think they're not going to take over Des Moines and Omaha, and so it affects everybody. You can't do this. You cannot sit here and go, how did the left take over everything? And then when you have a moment, one of these moments happening in real time, you say, screw it, let it burn. No. Fight. That's what I said in the speech. Stand up now and fight, fight, fight. Is there still time to answer your question about mail-in voting?
Absolutely.
I agree with you though, 1,000%. The apathy is really irritating. I mean, we talk about this on Spaces all the time.
Yeah.
Chad Caton is always bringing it up. You're always bringing it up. I'm always bringing it up. Apathy will kill this country. And if you really do stand 10 toes down and you're like, we need to save America, then you need to get out and make sure that you are being the tip of the spear in your circle of influence and encouraging your family, your friends, your neighbors, the person at the grocery store backing your groceries, when you're pumping gas, like that you are talking about saving our country and going out to vote. It doesn't matter RNC and GOP of every state, how many registered voters you have.
If they're
you
not
don't
engaged to go out and
engage
vote.
them to go vote.
Right.
Exactly. Ugh, drives me nuts. Okay, so answer the question. I'm sorry. Mail-in ballots. How are you going to chase those?
Sure. Sorry, what specifically are you asking about mail-in
Well,
ballots?
I'm wondering how you feel about it because when Trump came out to say it and posted about it, I thought this is great because mail-in voting's even been an issue here in Florida. But largely, the debate could be made that elections take place on the state level. So what is the federal government doing? And I made the argument, well, because you use the federal post office to carry out mail-in voting, and so why is the federal government again involved in elections? So I just wondered what your opinion was of that.
Well, I've been pretty outspoken, especially over this year, particularly about mail-in. I'm very against mail-in voting. I'm so thrilled to hear President Trump say that he's going to take a hard stance on this and try to eliminate this. I think we need to get back to one-day voting, paper ballots, like a simple system that actually works for people. And I don't know why we're acting or pretending like this is too difficult. Essentially, I think this is what they're doing in Florida. And in Florida, we have the results of the elections the same day. It's fast, it's efficient, it's safe, it's secure. And anything to the contrary seems to be, if not ripe with fraud, I think the potential to carry fraud is abundant. And I think we can't have it. We just can't have it. So President Trump's got my full support on this.
Cool. Are you guys worried about your safety in New York City at all? And what precautions are you taking?
Well, yeah, so we always have security at all of our events. I'm happy to say, and I'm going to knock on wood right now, no one's ever been hurt at a walkaway event before. We've often had protesters and agitators. We've even had some people show up throughout the years who have tried to get rowdy and have been neutralized very quickly and removed. But of course it's a concern, especially I think in this growing climate of violence, and we're seeing now not just, it used to be like Antifa, years ago that we would worry about. And of course that's always a concern, but this is kind of like amped up to the point where there's been shootings now, in the last few years and things trending to a certain degree in that direction. So, of course, there are always concerns, but we try to take every measure. These events that we're doing, we work very closely with the police departments and the precincts. We make sure that we have an abundant police presence on the ground. We have hired security agents there as well. So we're doing everything that we possibly can. But we need people to not allow themselves to become intimidated into not participating or staying home, because I've been hearing this, for the full 7.5 years that I've had Walkaway, people saying, I really wanted to come to your event, but I was afraid Antifa would come, or I was afraid of whatever. Well, they might, they might.
Yeah, they might.
I don't know what to tell you, but you don't just stay home. That's what they want. They want you to stay, and that's why they do this. But stop it. Stop letting them have the upper hand in this situation. We've also done events. One of the proudest events I've ever done was in San Francisco in early 2020, before the COVID lockdown. We did an event where Antifa succeeded in getting the venue to cancel our event, but we decided to do the event anyway on the sidewalk in front of the venue that canceled us. And I can honestly say, we had a ratio of 1-to-1 Antifa versus our attendees. So we had probably about 150 people that showed up to support us, and we probably had about 150 Antifa show up. And some of the people in my audience were people in their 60s and older. Wow. And these Antifa in San Francisco is next level, next level. And so they were unhinged, bordering on violent and crazy. But our people, including some of the senior citizens that showed up for my event, stood their ground, did not back down, like went toe to toe with these people, not violently, but just being like, we're not leaving, we're not backing down. And I was like, that's what we need. That's the energy we need to be bringing when we show up for stuff, that you're not going to intimidate us, you're not going to push us around, you're not going to scare us. We're going to stand our ground. We're Americans. We're going to fight.
Well, and you talk sometimes about how as Americans, it's really, it's part of our fabric. It's in our DNA. When you said, people being intimidated and afraid, I get that. We even get that at school board meetings.
Yes.
You'd be surprised what they call us. But, the Redcoats also came aboard our Eastern Coast, and people in our founding fathers weren't having it. So it's part of our DNA. But all that you're doing, Brandon, I know, we always hate to talk about the big money word, but it takes something to do what you're doing. And our audience is nationwide. People that are in, like you said, Nebraska might feel like, well, what can I really do?
This is a national election. New York City mayor election is a national election, and Americans everywhere need to get involved in any way that they can, whether it's sending postcards, writing letters, doing phone banking. You can do that from anywhere that you sit.
Right.
And I would say even like our Floridians here, great, you might have left the state of New York, you might have left New York City, but do you still care enough?
Fight.
What can we do? What can the nation do? What can those watching this, what can they do to support you and help?
Thank you. So we've made it actually really easy for people. So anyone watching, if you please go to walkawaycampaign.com and click volunteer. We have a very simple sign-up sheet, takes less than a minute to sign up. And whether you're a remote volunteer, as you said, from anywhere in the country, if you want to help us by sending text messages or making phone calls or sending letters and postcards, or if you're able to be an on-the-ground volunteer in New York City, just sign up, walkawaycampaign.com, sign our volunteer sign-up sheet. So we're using an app called Numenar. And so just so anyone knows, don't go run and load the app if you haven't signed up for our volunteer, because we have to train you, and you won't be able to get on board with what we're doing unless we onboard you and train you. So, but we are using an app called Numenar, and it makes the work very, very, very easy. Once we're able to load you as part of our team and train you, basically you'll get the what's called a call list. And so this is a question we get a lot, so I'll address this right now. People say, well, I'd love to help you with the texting and phone calling and stuff, but I don't want my phone number out there. It won't be. So anyone who does like phone banking or text messaging, your phone number will not be revealed to anybody. It'll happen through the app, and you'll be anonymous. But what it does is it gives you a list of people. Like I said, you'll get lists of Democrats, and there's a script for that, basically saying, hi, I'm so-and-so representing the Walkaway movement. This is a movement of former Democrats leaving the party, and we're asking for your support to not elect a Democrat socialist in November, anyone but Mamdani. You'll also get the contact information of Republicans and independents and undecideds to say it is so important that you get out and vote. Your voice matters. You must vote. So we've made it super, super easy for people. Just get the training, load the app, and you'll be off to the races helping us. If you're an on-the-ground volunteer, we're going to be canvassing, knocking on doors, getting out there. Again, we're doing these live events every 2 weeks. As we get closer, it'll be every week. And the events are really fun. I mean, honestly, I'm not just saying this, but like all the people volunteering for us the last 5-6 weeks have been saying, like, we're having a ball together. I mean, honestly,
I have serious FOMO, you guys. I'm not in New York.
Open mic ladies, we'll come help.
Serious FOMO. Like, Brandon, when am I going to get a phone call? When are we going up there? I want to go.
Come do a show from New York. Oh my God, do it. Yes, please. No, seriously, we're having such a good time. So, and the other thing I'm going to say, you don't get to do nothing. Okay, that's the thing. So there are 3 things that you either have to do. You either have to volunteer, you either have to show up to these events and participate, or you have to donate. But you don't get to say, you don't get to do nothing. Like you don't get to be like, well, I can't afford to donate, and I don't have time to volunteer, and I can't come to the event. So, like, come on, like literally everyone can give $1. Like, give $1. You know, and then you've done what you can do to help the cause. But this is what's so frustrating to me are the people. To me, it's like you have to fall into one of 3 buckets. You either show up, you volunteer, or you donate. But you can't do none of these things. And let's be honest, ladies, some of the people doing nothing are multi-millionaires and billionaires.
Exactly.
Really doing nothing. Nothing.
Yep.
So,
but they do all this. They do all the talking.
We don't
Yeah.
need any more keyboard warriors.
They
Nope.
do all the talking and none of
Yeah.
the work. Like I hate that. It drives me absolutely crazy because I look at them and I'm like, how many doors did you knock?
Mm.
How many phone calls did you make? How many text messages did you send
Yeah.
out? 0? Okay, then you can talk to me later when you actually do some work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brandon, you are infectious. I encourage everybody to follow you at Brandon Straka
And the walkaway movement.
and the walkway movement.
Get involved.
Absolutely.
Don't be complacent. Get off your ass and go do something.
Yeah.
Get off your best intentions. Let's go. We'll definitely be in touch. We'd love to help out any way we can. Thank you so much for joining us on Open Mic.
And anything you need, you can come back on. Let us know.
Yep.
Break whatever it is you want.
Thank you so much. I'll do my final spiel to say, please go to walkawaycampaign.com. Sign up to be a volunteer. If you can't volunteer, please donate. If you can't donate, show up for our events and just support us as we fight Mom Donnie.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much, Brandon, for all you do.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. Guys, we'll be right back with more Open Mic after this short message.
Do you have enough food to feed your family for several months if the supply chain falls apart? If not, why not?
There is no guarantee that grocery stores or even local farmers will be operating in your area if circumstances change.
The problem is that most survival food sucks. That's why we get long-term storage food from Heaven's Harvest. Their food doesn't suck.
Heaven's Harvest uses all natural ingredients that they freeze dry to maximize taste, nutrition, and shelf life.
They source their foods locally, right here in the United States. They even offer heirloom seeds so you can grow your own food.
It's the kind of food that you and your family could enjoy every day. And the way things are going, that might just happen.
Visit patriot.tv/food. That's patriot.tv/food and use promo code PATRIOT at checkout.
Don't wait. Stock up on long-term storage food today before food prices start rising again.
Stays on, red hat stays on, red hat stays on, red hat stays on.
How
I never
freaking-
drink of water
I
after
know.
that.
Like,
I was like, I'm like dehydrated because it's so.
how amazing is that, guys? Walk Away is just, it's an incredible organization.
You know, and listen, what he's doing with the, Democrat versus Republican kind of engagement conversation, we all have to really do when it comes to even on your local level, whether it's a school board, people will say they're banning books, they're banning books. If you can just engage in that conversation and ask the simple question, I know we've asked here, like, well, which books?
Right.
Which books were, and then they have to kind of, you kind of have that conversation. The same thing's going to happen with COVID and everything that happened.
Yeah.
Many people did their best. So they just did what they were told, took the injection. They're going to find out a lot of what's been going on. And so what do? Do you just leave them disenfranchised, or do you have that conversation and say, listen, well, there's more that unites us than divides us, and we actually need you to be a part of the solution. I
Right.
love what he's doing.
That's great.
That's amazing.
And I like what he said, that both sides can take a look at what he's doing and learn something from it. So let's do
We
that.
might know somebody in the RNC now.
Especially now.
Especially now.
That we've built connections
Might
with,
be
so.
calling you soon.
Absolutely.
I want to jump to when an independent journalist does it right. Listen, Laura Loomer, you can like her, you can not like her, you can say whatever you want to say about her, but the woman
doesn't
is
matter.
always right, and
Yep.
she does the research and has the receipts. She said that, I didn't realize this, Allie, that the FBI and the IRS called on her to investigate this Palestinian youth movement for their pro-Islamic terrorism activities on U.S. soil. She's saying just one day after that, she has that now that we have Senator Tom Cotton is taking action, as well as FBI Director Kash Patel. So they asked her to do some research. She's produced some information. You would think sometimes, as would normally happen, you provide the information, then you wait for somebody to do something. And they too sometimes sit on their best intentions. Not so with this administration. So she's saying, listen, I haven't always been on the same page with Senator Tom Cotton, but thank God he's doing, okay, he's taking some action. Kash Patel taking some action. This is just a journalist, an independent podcaster journalist from right here in the state of Florida who tried to run for office.
And they completely blackballed her.
And the GOP blackballed her. I bet you're wishing she was sitting in a seat now, don't you? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I think she's very effective at what she's doing now. I mean, could you imagine her hands being tied as a congressional member? There's only so much that you can do as a congressional member. I think she would obviously break the mold. But what she's doing is incredible, and
Very
we
incredible.
support you, Laura.
Thank
So,
you, Laura, for all that you're
thank
doing.
you.
We had reports yesterday of Venezuelan aircraft that had flown over. Our Navy is off the coast of Venezuela, largely because, well, let's go ahead and show this post. This is what Secretary of State Marco Rubio had posted when it was called the Department of Defense. He's saying two Maduro regime military aircraft flew over U.S. Navy vessels. So I had a lot of people asking, why are we off the coast of Venezuela? Are we waging war with Venezuela? I thought we were America first. Okay, take a look at this second post. This is the post from Marco Rubio that I want to make sure everybody sees.
Yeah.
This is our Secretary of State, you guys, saying Maduro, the alleged president of Venezuela, is not the president of Venezuela, and his regime is not the legitimate government. Maduro is the head of Cartel de las Soles, a narco terror organization which has taken possession of a country.
Wow.
This is huge for our Secretary of State here to acknowledge that a criminal network is completely hijacked Venezuela. We've heard from the Venezuelan people at different events that we've been to that have MAGA is not just America. It caught fire and it's gone to all parts of the world, really. And Venezuelans are hungry for this. They're hungry for an election that's free and fair. Maduro was not duly elected, and yet he sits in control. So that kind of helps me to understand as we've waged war on these criminal organizations as well. They're calling them terrorist organizations. That gives us the right to now be involved where these criminal networks.
And it gives us the ability to utilize our military capabilities to fight these regimes, these terrorist organizations, whether it's a country head, right?
Yeah.
President, legitimate or illegitimate. If you are allowing terrorists to run your country and you are actually a captured person of your government and you are making decisions and that's affecting Americans, then now because we have deemed your organization a criminal terroristic organization that is now affecting Americans, now we can use our military capabilities, our defenses.
Or find out.
Right. Mess around, find out. That's it. I was trying to, censor myself a little bit.
No. It's open mic, not censored mic.
But I don't think the F-bomb at 10:52 in the morning is appropriate. So maybe. I mean, it just depends. But no, for sure. I think it's interesting too because I think there was the Mexican president. She had made some statements about this as well. And Governor Ron DeSantis was on Laura Ingraham, and he was essentially like, you're captured too. So you keep playing around, you're going to find out President Trump too, ma'am. So I think you should probably calm down a little bit. It was pretty interesting to hear that exchange. So yeah.
Somebody sent me yesterday, we showed the video of them literally bombing this boat. It's like a little John boat trying to, get narcotics.
Wait, and it's like President Trump has like the controller, like he's playing, and it was hilarious.
But somebody, as much as I love lobster, they were like, oh, cocaine lobster. I was like, can you imagine what that's going to do in our water?
It's like cocaine in Coca-Cola, right? You know that's how that was originally.
Don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin it for me, Allie. I have one thing.
It takes rust off your engine, guys, and cleans your toilet. Stop drinking Coca-Cola. I can't.
Takes rust off your engine.
And then we wonder why our children are sick, and we have like 79% of Americans are on lifelong medications. Okay, this is what Bobby Kennedy is talking about when we have representatives that have been sitting in office for 35, 40 years.
Never been a part of the solution.
And have never, right, but they want to ask these ridiculous questions while he's up there trying to hold people accountable from the last administration who botched kinds of
everything. Well, listen, I want to make sure before we move on from Venezuela, guys, inside sources we have within the administration tell us that there is some news that will be breaking hopefully in the next 4 weeks, if not sooner, that are going to tie information about our election system in 2020, the stolen election in 2020, and a lot of this, how it originated under Maduro and in Venezuela. That's all I'm going to say, because we've already been banned on some places. We'll bring more to you when we can. Can we just have a good funny haha?
Yes.
Because it's like Friday and the weekend.
Are we going to talk? Is it the polls? Because that's hilarious with Gavin Newsom and JD Vance, and how it's like Gavin Newsom is favored to win the 2028 presidency by 8 points over JD Vance. That's a funny.
That's not happening.
That's not happening. Close.
That's not happening.
Who's actually believing this?
Nobody's believing that. Nobody's. But Allie, Trump nearly broke the internet the other day. Did you see? And is this Chris Christie? And who is this? Wait, before we show it, is that Chris Christie? Governor Pritzker. And Governor Pritzker. Take a look at this. Wait for it. No, but the best part is the Chariots of Fire song. Oh,
my goodness. I'm like, was President Trump's Truth and X account like hacked? Did Barron take over? Like, what happened? Because this was not the only thing he posted.
There was so much more.
So many more. And it had like everybody was laughing. I was sending them to Shell like, I can't stop laughing. I literally spit my water out at a couple of them. So if you're interested to see them, go to our president's Truth account and his @RealDonaldTrump's X account to find out all of the crazy things he posted.
When you deplatform him on regular media, mainstream media, they won't give him any time. So
Like,
he's
there
like,
was a meme of him and Melania laying in bed, and it's like Trump is like this at 2 a.m. Oh my God. I can so relate.
I'll put the phone away in just a minute. I gotta send one more message.
One more meme.
Oh, guys, that's
funny.
Unfortunately, we are all out of time. That's it for us here on, she said, darn, an open mic. Guys, make sure you follow @RealAllyLeger, @MichellePosey, and @OpenMicLadies on all platforms. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, but make sure you set that notification so every day, 9:58, you get a little notification that we're about to go live. You're not going to want to miss Monday's show
And
either.
join the walkaway movement.
Get out there.
Go do something.
Hey, we got a trip to plan now. You
Yeah,
heard 'em.
we do. We're going to New York.
You don't have to ask girls twice to get a road trip.
All
All right, guys, we love you. Take care. Have a blessed and wonderful weekend. We'll catch you on Monday.
What do you do when the gas is high? Inflation's up in the sky. Red hat stays on. Red hat stays on. And I don't care how they look at me in the deepest heart of a blue city. Red hat stays on. Red hat stays on. And I know when you smile, you like what you see. If you love America, you'll agree. Red hat stays on. Red hat stays on.